it's Penny here, and today I'm going to be doing the classic rock book tag. As with all book tags, this is just an excuse to talk about lots of different books, except all the prompts are classic rock inspired, as you might guess from the title. I was tagged by a Break Even Books, so I will leave his video down below, along with a link to the original tag by Backlist Books. So the first prompt is, don't stop believing. What is a book that inspired you? So I struggled with this a little bit because I was trying to think of something that really inspired me to do something, but I couldn't come up with anything. So instead I just went with a book that I really liked and it made me think differently, and that is Arrival by Ted Chiang, or it's actually a short story anthology originally published as Stories of Your Life and Others. But then one of these short stories is the inspiration for the movie Arrival. This is the movie tie-in edition that I got for like $2 at a thrift shop, but now that I've read it, I really want to get a proper edition because I absolutely loved this short story anthology. And I don't normally like short story anthologies, although I do better with ones where they're all written by the same author. And these are science fiction short stories, but they all just look at things in such a strange world, and all the concepts were amazing. And I think this is likely to be one of my favorite books of the year. Next we have Dream On, name a character who pursues their dreams no matter what the cost. And for that, I'm going to go with Ronan from The Dream Thieves. If you know about Ronan's ability, then you would see that he pursues his dreams in a way that is far beyond what most people do. And then this concept of dream type magic is taken even further in the Dreamers trilogy, which the first book, Call Down the Hawk, has been published, but we're waiting on the rest of the series. I know it's going to take things so much further. And there's a bunch of other characters in that series that also, I would say, pursue their dreams. Actual dreams, not just, oh, I'd like to do something, but dreams made into reality. I love it. Next we have Stairway to Heaven. Recommend your favorite book with lyrical writing. And for that I'm going to go with This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal El-Matar and Max Gladstone. This is a really strange book where you basically have these two factions trying to change the timeline so that their future will be more likely. You've got a very technical side and a more biological side competing against each other. These two agents from either side start writing letters to each other, and the letters are just so beautiful. The way that they are sending the letters to themselves it's explained in such a beautiful way, and the eventual romance that develops between these two. Honestly, everything about it was beautiful, and this book is just beautiful. Also really short, so easy to read. Next we have We're Not Gonna Take It. Name a character with a rebellious personality. And for that, I'm going to go with Kinsey from Lock and Key. She's not actually in this one. I need to get some more Lock and Key graphic novels, but this one is like a short story, what's it called? A one-shot. I'm not good at comic vocabulary, but the main Lock and Key series is all about this family who, after this traumatic experience, move back to the family home, and there they start finding all these magical keys that let them do different things. It's very dark. There is one girl, Kinsey, and at some point in the series she uses the head key, which is one that lets you put a key in your head and open up and see the inside of your head, and she takes out her fear, and after that she just does whatever the hell she wants because she's not afraid of doing it, and I really love her. Also, the whole family has gone through some really traumatic times, and I think that just makes you care even more about them. Next we have Who Wants to Live Forever. Who or what is your favorite immortal character? And I feel like there must be heaps of options for this, but I really struggled to think of some. So I'm probably missing something really obvious, but the first one that came to mind is actually the bad guy in the Kate Daniels series. So Kate's father, Roland, is this magical person who is essentially immortal, has lived for a long time, I don't know how long, thousands of years at least. And in this series, as magic is coming back into the world, he's regaining his powers. And it's really interesting because while sometimes he is the big bad and he's doing really horrible things, there's also a part where he just wants to be a fatherly figure for Kate and a grandfatherly figure for the girl that Kate looks after. And honestly, for the whole series, even though he was the bad guy, I was really hoping that he would somehow just turn into a nice old grandfather. And I mean almost. There's still a chance for him because this series is kind of continuing in the spin-off series that's currently being published online, but we should get the first book properly published next year, and I'm excited for it. Next we have Come As You Are, which is recommend a book that features drugs addiction or addiction recovery. And honestly, I think it's debatable to call Come As You Are classic rock, but we'll allow it. And also this is another one where I feel like there's lots of options that I just can't think of, but the one that I am going to talk about is The Poppy War, and also even more The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. So this is a Chinese inspired war fantasy where the magic in this world involves taking control of gods, and in order to do this there is an element of drug taking, and that causes several characters to get quite messed up. And especially in the second book, The Dragon Republic, there is a character dealing with quite bad addiction and working through the awfulness of that. Now, I didn't particularly like The Dragon Republic, and I would say actually a large part of it was that I didn't enjoy reading about the effects of this drug addiction. I wanted more exciting fantasy, and I wanted the main character to take a more proactive role in the story. But I can totally see why other people have enjoyed the exploration of this topic. Next we have Dancing With Myself. Name a book with no romance or that has an asexual character. So I actually went through my Goodreads list of all the books that I've read and pretty much couldn't find any that didn't have any romance, which, considering that I don't really like the romance aspects of stories, it's kind of annoying. But recently I did read Guardian of the Dead by Karen Healy. This is a New Zealand author and the book is set in New Zealand. It's about this girl who gets involved in this Maori mythology, fairy type thing that's going on. Again, I don't think I'm really the target market for this. There were some YA romances in it, so you can't say there's no romance in this. And one of the side characters, Kevin, is asexual, and right at the beginning of the book, he's talking with one of his friends about how to talk with other people about that. Next we have I Would Do Anything for Love. Which character would do anything for the ones they love? And for this, I'm actually going to go with Saoirse from Daughter of the Forest by Juliet Marillier. This is another New Zealand author, and this is a Seven Swans retelling. I don't know what that fairy tale is called, but basically Saoirse's 7 brothers are turned into swans, and she is not allowed to talk, and she has to weave these nettle somethings. I've forgotten the details, but anyway, it's really painful, makes her hand bleed, and she's not allowed to talk while she's doing it, or she won't be able to get her brothers turned back. At the same time, she gets kidnapped by their kingdom's enemy and they're holding her hostage, and still she can't talk, and she goes through such awful times because of this. And there's some really awful moments. I cried so many times reading this book. And also, there is a romance in this book, and it didn't bother me at all. I quite liked it, which, given that I don't usually like the romances, that says a lot for it. But just when I went through all the books that I've read, this is the one that really stood out as a character having gone through a lot for the people that she loves. Next we have Living on a Prayer. Name a character that is in a precarious living situation. And for this, I'm going to go with Ascender, the graphic novel series, but also the series before this, the Descender graphic novels. Basically, this whole series, every character is in a really awful situation. This one especially. Their living situations at the beginning of this, not great. There's a war between humans and robots, so pretty much everyone is only just managing to survive, and at the end of Descender, a lot of people don't survive. Actually, at the end of this volume, several people don't survive. So, rough times, but I really love this series. Last we have Good Riddance. Name a book that took an unpredictable turn. And for that, I'm going to go with not this one, but the sequel, The Empress by S.J. Kincaid. It took such an unpredictable turn that most people don't like the second book because it just wasn't what they thought it was going to be. Personally, I thought it was really cool how it really went in such a different direction. But basically in this series, we've got this genetically engineered bodyguard. She takes the place of the girl that she's looking after and goes into the capital so that her, what is the word for a person that has a bodyguard? Bodyguardie? What's the word? You tell me, because I don't know it. But regardless, she wants to protect this girl, so she takes her place. And then, in the second book, someone that she really trusted does something very unexpected, and it's quite dark, It's quite rough. I can see why people didn't like it, but I loved it, and the third book for this series is coming out soon, and I'm super excited to see where the series is going to go and what's going to happen, and I can't wait. Anyway, that is the classic rock book tag. Let me know if you have any other better answers for some of these questions, or if you've read any of the books that I talked about today. I would love to talk with you more about them down in the comments. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you are doing well, and I will see you next time.